Dang.
That can't be the secret. Unfortunately for everyone in the room, that's pretty much the gist of it. Carnage Kabuto goes into carnage mode. He'll be in this rampaging state for a week, all the way to next Saturday. Saitama looks to be easily of a month, a whole week, which means today is Saturday. He's able to go to the state. This is not making Superman absolutely destroying his wall and Carnage Kabuto. But Genos reassures him that there's still enough time to make it before close. They blast a hole through the wall and bust to the storm. Dr. Genos gives up on his research right then and there, while the Hero Association investigates Genos' destructive capabilities. After a passionate speech about leaving the banks or trickle-down bootstraps, a terrorist named Hammerhead knocks down a building owned by Senti, a wealthy, powerful man. Wrong building, but it's the thought that counts, right? Saitama jolts awake after a disturbing dream of rock, paper, scissors, discovering there is a group of terrorists running rampant. He won't stand for it. They stole his look. Now every bald man is a public enemy. Senti doesn't need to look far for help. He hires an assassin who shows up at an almost convenient time to deal with Hammerhead himself. There's quick work with the impulse, with their bodies of their heads, but Hammerhead slips away, only to run into Saitama in the forest. He destroys his stolen battlesuit. The assassin shows up and immediately thinks he's a terrorist. Saitama is disheartened that he has no idea who he is. The hired gun slips around, introducing himself as Smooth as Sound Sonic. The only thing that slows him down is saying his own name. He's surprised that Saitama can block his attacks when he accidentally sacks him. Sonic vows that they'll meet again while slinking off. Saitama tells Genos they have a problem. Nobody knows who he is. More monsters than any other hero. Apparently, if he wants recognition, he'll have to sign up to be on the official hero registry. They agree to sign up together, so Genos can become his official disciple. There are only two things standing in their way, a physical and written exam. Saitama destroys every record of the physical portion, and most of the equipment while he's at it. Genos gets a perfect score on both portions, but why would they make a cyborg take the physical? He is immediately ranked as an S-class hero, and confident in his master, begins celebrating, only to find out he mistook the top half of the letter C as that of an S. Saitama passed by 1 point despite a perfect physical score. They are the only two that pass the hero exams, and must endure a class taught by Snap, an A-class hero. Frustrated at their lack of attention span, Snap tries to haze Saitama later on, only to embarrass himself further. Genos challenges Saitama to spar, though upon asking his master to go all out, he's completely baffled by his incredible strength. He still doesn't believe that Saitama's basic training regimen is truly his secret. He's on another level completely. Afterwards, he gets something. Let's say, when one hero is swimming past him, comes to speak with Genos. Outside, he gives them an always welcome to the community. They will find ways since they became heroes, and Genos will pay. Casual mentions that that's the heroes and he can make a quota, or else they are removed. Saitama had no idea, nor did he have the slightest clue what he could teach his disciple. He quickly makes something out he read in a manga about training his mind or something, and gives him the goal of winning the S-class top 10. He runs around the city for 2 days, to no avail. And at his worst, Sonic shows up, putting through his match against his imaginary rival. From the school, Saitama breaks his sword and threatens him in anger. A woman points them out as another C-class hero, and a top tiger approaches. Saitama laughs, thinking Sonic is a criminal, but perhaps even more. He realizes that he recognizes him as a hero. So he learns this luxury and a top tiger and souls breathing happy. Saitama doesn't have time for this. He needs to find a better way. Sonic holds his ball. It's a good thing he happens to be a hired assassin, despite Saitama's ignorance of the method. They should be A-class heroes. His mustache are dispatched to City Seat to investigate the reports of the monster site. A monster also investigates the site. tried to turn the citizens against Saitama for destroying the city and cheating in the rankings. Saitama becomes angry and yells at the crowd, who are oblivious to the fact that they wouldn't be standing there without him. He doesn't do this for admiration. He does it because he wants to. Genos calms him down before he makes a bigger scene. The Seafolk announce their invasion of the circus. Moment Rider races to the scene, but he's too late. Saitama happened to be walking by and already took care of it. In City J, A-class hero Stinger defeats some of the Seafolk who begin to emerge, while Saitama watches reports of the incident. The Sea King appears, defeating Stinger with ease, as Genos, Saitama, and Moment Rider head to the scene. Lightning Max debates whether to step in when the Sea King appears behind him, taking him out in a single hit. Two escaped convicts, Pody Pody Prisoner, an S-class hero, and Sonic run into the Sea King, who has a tough time dealing with the former. Sonic decides to take him on after being insulted, but as it begins to rain, the Sea King only gets faster and stronger. Moment Rider spots a lost Saitama looking for Genos and gives him a ride. Sonic escapes with his life, but not his clothes, and tells the cyborg not to bother, running past Saitama during his retreat. Saitama jumps off the bike, wondering who the naked guy was. He finds Moment Rider's dropped phone when the Hero Association calls. Genos faces off with the Sea King, who rips his arm off while he tries to evacuate the stadium, but he's taken out while attempting to save a little girl. Not to worry, Moment Rider is on the scene. He absolutely refuses to give up, giving a rousing speech and garnering cheers from the crowd. Saitama catches him before the Sea King kills him, interrupting his villain exposition. Q-Ball winds up and completely wrecks the King of the Deep with one punch, stopping both him and the ring. Sonic, now clothed, returns with his weapons a few seconds too late, leaving the monster left. At their apartment, Genos and Saitama receive a bunch of fan mail, well, hate mail, and one fan letter in Saitama's case, prompting a flashback to the aftermath of the battle, where Saitama vindicates one crowd member's smack-talking heroes. He lies to them, saying it's true that he's the guy who steps in to steal other heroes' credit, making them appreciate the fallen ones. A third letter arrived from the Hero Association, promoting him to C-Class Rank 1 and inviting him to a meeting to decide whether to move up to B-Class. They discuss if he's really a fake, despite his record-breaking test scores. If he's for real, they'll soon find out. On his way back home, he stops for something to eat, only to find Moment Rider, who offers to buy him a drink, since he couldn't say everything in his thank you letter. At Bang's dojo, he tells Genos and Saitama that one of his students went crazy and defeated all his top disciples when someone from the Hero Association shows up, claiming there's an emergency meeting for all S-Class heroes. Saitama goes along, since he has nothing better to do. Madame Shibabawa, a seer who predicted monster attacks, has died, but with her last breath, she predicted that the Earth is in trouble sometime within the next 6 months. Suddenly, the HQ is attacked. A giant alien spaceship appears in the sky, leveling City A. Genos looks around, but Saitama has already busted through the ceiling, boarding the ship with ease, leaving the S-Class heroes to fight on the ground. One of the aliens, Guryuganshu, panics while Saitama thoughtlessly runs through the ship, punching everything in his path. They call Melzargar, the regenerating multi-headed alien fighting the S-Class heroes on the ground, back to the ship to help. Meanwhile, Saitama continues searching for the captain, accidentally breaking everything he touches. The heroes fighting the alien have a tough time, as physical attacks have no effect, until Metal Bat finds and destroys a blue marble, which kills off one of the heads. When Saitama is contacted telepathically and told to leave, claiming he's lost, the alien is more than happy to direct him off the ship, until he goes in the opposite direction. Smashing through the door, he finds the telepath who tries to intimidate him with telekinesis. But Saitama says it's a waste of time using such power to throw pebbles around, tossing one right through its head. The ship's gunner waits for confirmation, but decides to fire regardless. But the S-class hero Tornado stops the barrage, redirecting it towards the ship. Moomin Rider saves the survivors in City A, inspiring other low-ranking heroes to join him. Bang destroys another of Melzargard's heads, which leaves only one left, provoking an attack that launches him through multiple buildings. Back on the ship, Saitama smashes through the alien leader's door, who recognizes him as the strongest warrior on the planet, with seemingly unlimited energy. Before they fight, he wishes to exchange names out of respect, announcing himself as Boros, the leader of the Dark Matter Gang and dominator of the universe. Saitama begins introducing himself as a hero for fun. Make that a professional hero, catching himself, saving him from embarrassment. Apparently, when Boros became bored with being so strong, an alien seer made a prediction that he would find someone worthy of fighting. Saitama doesn't care, punching him, only to break his armor, which seals his unimaginable power. Sure, okay, he has no problem keeping up, even punching Boros' arm off. Tornado begins attacking the ship with her telekinesis, while Drive Knight warns Genos that Metal Knight is not an ally. Bang turns out to be completely fine and destroys the last of Melzargard's heads. Boros continues his relentless assault on Saitama, who is still completely unfazed by everything he says and does. He does, however, have powerful regenerative powers, but Saitama interrupts his villain exposition and takes a high knee, sending him to the moon. He looks around and jumps back to Earth, impressing himself. It's time to end this. Saitama finally unleashes one of his most powerful moves, consecutive normal punches, but it only provokes Boros to use his ultimate move, forcing Saitama to use his ultimate move, Serious Punch, which sends him around the world, completely baffling Boros that he lost. Sweet Mask shows up, becoming furious about the results of the battle, and loses it on the S-rank heroes, while Metal Knight sends a drone to collect the alien tech to incorporate into his own. Genos wonders where his master is, as Saitama punches his way out of the ship. They ignore a furious Tornado and start casually chatting about him and Boros. Even though City was wiped off the map, they rebuilt the Hero Association with parts salvaged from the ship, while inviting the A and S rank heroes to live at the new headquarters. A while later, Saitama faces Pluton, king of the underworld, only to become furious that he's back to beating everything with one punch. After a successful mission at the supermarket, Saitama and Genos run into King, S-Class rank 7, going about his day. A monster, Tongue Stretcher, can't camouflage his undesirable behavior. That is, until he's face to face with King, afraid of him. When the sound of the King's engine rattles his reptile brain. Relieved to avoid conflict, King tries to continue on with his day when he's confronted by G4, a robot bent on taking the throne. But King turns his attention to one of Forceland. G4 caves, giving him a 10-minute bathroom break before he attacks innocent civilians. King starts freaking out, almost scaring the otaku out of him. He's a fraud. Every time a monster shows up, someone else takes care of it, and everyone gives him credit. He decides to make a break for it, to play his new video game while Genos battles the bot. When he finally gets home and boots up Heartbeat Haughty Sisters 2, Saitama suddenly starts inquiring about his behavior, having followed King home. Embarrassed, King claims that he accidentally bought the wrong game. Totally isn't a hardcore dating sim fan, obviously. The two start gaming, despite King's reluctance. Suddenly, a giant bird destroys the outer wall of King's apartment. When Saitama wonders if he should take care of it, King's secret is finally exposed. Looks like he'll be eating crow for him. After Saitama defeats the hollow bone forward, to his chagrin, King realizes it's been him. No hair, all skin. The smooth-headed caper, his savior. All the way back to his octopus encounter, which left an ocular scar. He's been there. albeit the failure of his follicles made recognizing his dome a hairy endeavor. He's desperate. Sonic leaves the meeting after discovering Saitama is absent. The criminals and heroes are at odds, and neither side is enthusiastic about the proposition. Garo challenges everybody, declaring humans the enemy. He's fighting for the monsters. He deals with most of the attendees, leaving Stitch alive to send a message announcing the arrival of Garo, the monster. Saitama is distracted, playing games, when Genos detects someone coming right for them. Answering the door, he's met with Sonic, looking to pick another fight with his rival. He'll have to slow his roll. Revenge isn't in the cards today. As he and Genos decide to take their battle elsewhere, Hellish Blizzard, B-Class Rank 1, shows up at their apartment. She tries to explain the factions found within each class. Blizzard, being the leader of the Blizzard group, tries to strong-arm Saitama, only to get a taste of his. Their fight leads them to the street, where they run into Genos and Sonic. Saitama saves Blizzard, much to her surprise. Genos decides to obliterate Sonic in a giant blast to circumvent his afterimage trick, but Saitama stops him. He'd rather have somewhere to lay his smooth head at night than have his disciple destroy his neighborhood. Instead, he gives in to Sonic's desire to fight him. It's time to use serious sideways jumps, creating more afterimages than Sonic, moving faster than Blizzard can even see. Saitama defeats Sonic with his own technique. Back at the apartment, Blizzard complains that she's been blotted out by the storm clouds, living in her sister's terrible tornado's shadow. She laments some more about never being able to rise in the ranks, when there's a knock on the door. It's King, looking for his handheld console, only to find out that Saitama saved over his file. Blizzard continues to be surprised. Genos receives the hero name Demon Cyborg, while Saitama is bequeathed the title that strikes fear into the unshaved and caveless, henceforth known as Caved Baldy. At Bang's dojo, he expels Chudanko for not standing up after receiving a substantial beatdown. Chudanko later relays this to Saitama and company at his apartment. Genos inquires further about any link between Bang's changing demeanor and Garo's recent rampage. Perhaps it was to keep Chudanko safe. After leaving the apartment, Chudanko walks aimlessly, imagining what he would do if he ran into Garo. Well, he won't have to imagine much longer. He hears Garo close by with Moomin Rider. Before the two have spoken, a gang of tank-top-wielding Hebrews shows up to challenge the self-proclaimed monster. After an initial assault, the heroes are taken aback at Garo's ability to stand. Meanwhile, Bang welcomes his brother, Bomb, to the dojo. They discuss how powerful the ex-disciple has become, and their plans to stop him together. Tank Top Master is compelled to end Garo, sensing something not quite right about him. But before he can land the finishing blow, Moomin Rider throws himself between them. He can't believe a hero would kill a human. Muscle Brains agrees, despite some protests from his entourage, and tells Garo to leave. There's no way he'd leave now, though. Accidentally using Bang's technique, he decimates the gym junkies, even putting Moomin Rider in the hospital, where Saitama visits him the next day, trying to glean some information. At a park, a kid flips through a hero almanac when Garo joins him, gaining info on the heroes from the various entries. Saitama meets with Chudanko in the hospital to learn about martial arts. There's a tournament soon, and since Chudanko can't participate, he gives Saitama his extra tickets. Using the book to locate Golden Ball, Garo challenges him to a fight, which the tipsy hero accepts, catching the wannabe monster off guard at first, though quickly running out of balls. Luckily, Spring Mustachio comes to his aid, but that luck is short-lived as Garo finishes him on two. While walking in the shopping district, Garo accidentally runs into Saitama shopping. Thinking he's a low-level hero, he tries to attack the clueless cue ball, shocking the disgraced disciple when he effortlessly counters and renders him unconscious. Turns out, Saitama was looking for a wig to disguise himself as Chudanko in the tournament. Garo has a flashback to his childhood, red confused, and Hyde Retchotsi confronts the undercover One Punch One con with After two civilians end walking, leaving the slugger alone when Garo shows up. Ignoring his challenge at first, Metal Bat decides to play ball. Garo can't believe how much of a beating the baseball hero can endure. After knocking him down, Garo admits he almost got him. One head-on strike could have. A little girl's voice rings out, stopping his bat inches from Garo's face. The hero's little sister steps in and stops the fight. Surprisingly, Garo withdraws, while monsters watch from a distance. After the fight, they approach him and try to recruit him to the Monster Association, to which he refuses, often one of his stalkers. The Hero Association is overwhelmed as monsters appear in large numbers in every city. At the tournament, Saitama learns that the parents are based on a parent strength. While Zakos tries to talk trash, Saitama points out how weak he must be since their first match is against each other. Well, it isn't really a match. Saitama wins with a single slap. A former champion, Sweetie, who returned after disappearing for 7 years, takes care of Lightning Max with a single kick in his first match. With reports of monsters in the area, Genos leaves the stands to take care of it. Sourface boasts about winning as Saitama returns from the bathroom, having missed the entire thing. Saitama's next opponent begins to taunt the rookie, attempting to intimidate him until he touches his wig, garnering a single punch knockout. Meanwhile, more monsters appear while the heroes become stretched thin, trying to combat the large-scale assault. Genos barely beats an elusive cockroach man, only to get blindsided by a dragon-level threat. At the tournament, Sweetie taunts Snack, dissing heroes, claiming that only the strong will survive, before winning yet another match with a single blow. S-Class heroes join the foray against the Monster Assault in an attempt to turn the tide, while Saitama faces off against a ruthless psychopath, more like a toothless handicap after a single smack. During the chaos, Atomic Samurai meets with the Council of Swordmasters regarding the Garo problem. Instead of devising a plot to combat the monsters, Hada deemed themselves, claiming that consuming them will give them incredible power. Though nothing nuclear, the Atomic Samurai splits him in two. It's finally time for the finals, Saitama versus Sweetie. The latter promises to show his opponent what martial arts are really about. He continues to show his disdain for heroes and advises against becoming one. Saitama finally has enough, not even bothering to dodge a kick which sends his wig flying, disqualifying him for wearing a head cover. Sweetie, who becomes furious, refusing to lose, he lets out a fury of blows proclaiming to show what martial arts can do, only to receive Saitama's one-hit wonder, sending him flying out of the ring. Despite winning, Sweetie isn't satisfied. What would have happened if Saitama hadn't pulled his punch? Suddenly, 3 giant crows descend from above, as Goketsu catches a contestant trying to escape and throws their mangled corpse in front of the others. Announcing himself, the contestants are shocked to discover the previous champion has become a monster. He offers the contestants monster cells, the only alternative, death. Most decide to eat the cells, but Sweetie refuses, deciding to battle the newly created monsters. Elsewhere, Garo finds Watchdog Man and they start to fight. The latter wonders whether he's human or a monster. Sweetie begs for help from the last competitor. Instead, he realizes as a human, he'll never stand a chance. Eating the remaining monster cells, he collapses. Despite the insurmountable odds, Lightning Max and Snack appear, dressed in their hero gear, ready to help. Sweetie is baffled when they but the kid doesn't quite. Hearing about Goketsu piques his interest though. Maybe an incredibly strong martial art practicing monster could, or not, Saitama enter with draw past the Meanwhile, Sonic is confronted by 2 ninja associates who propose a method to beat him.
In today's video, I talk about the Gorilla Tag City revamp. I'm going to be giving you guys a bunch of reasons why I think it's going to happen and what people are saying.
Multiple super freaks, each legendary in their own way. Anyway, it's not like it'll last long. These guys are evil, masters, and they nothing stops this titan, Eric1515, a legacy like no other. One of the first to create gorilla tag videos for YouTube. His speed and agility makes him an ample threat. Maxo, king of gorilla tag TikTok, known for his stylish plays and one-pointed tongue. Maxo has his back on anything. Mosa, winner of the second J-Max early speedrun competition. Fast like no other and built like a tank. Mosa.
Oh, that's insane, dude.
Ça va, ça va?